This is the WWE Bash in Berlin 2024 full show results video, which takes place at Uber Arena in Berlin, Germany. The show started with a match between American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Both superstars shake hands, and the match begins, and let me tell you guys, the crowd's reaction was insane since starting. They were chanting both superstars' names throughout the match, and it was so energetic. Owens hits a shoulder tackle on Rhodes, then Rhodes sets up for the Cody cutter and Owens then sees him coming and both men stare each other down once again. Rhodes then responds with a dropkick on Owens and cinches in a figure 4 leg lock, but Owens escapes and sends Rhodes crashing into the barricade on the outside shoulder first. Kevin Owens got a couple of opportunities to destroy Cody Rhodes or take Cody's problem advantage, but he didn't pull his trigger. Owens and Rhodes then deliver some right hands on each other and Rhodes climbs to the top, but his injured knee gives out. Owens then considers hitting a chop block on it but decides against it and tells the referee to check on Rhodes. Both men then brawl on the outside and Rhodes rolls up Owens. Owens then kicks out and hits a stunner on Rhodes, then goes for a pin but Rhodes kicks out. Rhodes then responds with a couple of crossroads and looks to hit a third, but Owens escapes and hits a second stunner on Rhodes. Owens then goes for another pin, but Rhodes kicks out and Owens then climbs to the top rope and looks to hit a swanton bomb, but Rhodes gets his knees up. In the end, Cody Rhodes delivered Crossroads finisher and defeated Kevin Owens by pinfall to retain the WWE Undisputed Championship. After the match, Rhodes offers his hand to Owens to help him up. Owens then avoids taking it, resting his head on the top rope as he reflects on what just happened, and Owens then hugs Rhodes and holds up his hand as a show of respect, but seems like Kevin Owens' heel turn coming very soon. The next match happened between Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. The champions were dominating initially when Isla Dawn then sends Belair crashing into the ring post, but Cargill gets in Dawn's face on the apron. Fire then blindsides her with a tope suicide and Dawn then gets Belair back in the ring and goes for a pin, but Belair kicks out. Somehow Belair made a tag to Cargill, and then Cargill started an attack on the champions, delivering jackhammer on Isla. Then blind tag from Alba, Cargill with a super kick on Dawn, tag to Bianca, Fire cuts her off, up for the KLR bomb, reverse STO combination, but Jade Cargill breaks the pinfall. Dawn then tags in and holds Belair in place for Fire to hit a swanton bomb off the top, but Cargill pulls Belair out of the way, and Belair hands Fire over to her. Cargill then sends Fire crashing into the apron as Dawn rolls up Belair in the ring, and Cargill then tags in and Belair hits a spinebuster on Dawn. In the end, Cargill and Belair hit an assisted German suplex on Dawn, and then Cargill pins her for the win and becomes the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Then we saw a strap match between CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. McIntyre attacks Punk during his entrance, brawling on the floor, into the ring, and Drew puts the strap on his wrist and whips Punk with it while encouraging referee Rod Zapata to security on CM's wrist, and McIntyre does it himself and yells at Zapata to hit the bell, and match begins officially. McIntyre then continues lashing Punk with the strap across his spine, then hits a chop on his chest. Punk then hits a GTS on McIntyre, then considers touching one of the corners. Punk then opts against it to continue beating down McIntyre, then lashes him with the strap and hits a neckbreaker. McIntyre then rolls out of the ring, but Punk sends him crashing into the ring apron midsection first and looks to grab something from under the ring. McIntyre then nails Punk from behind to prevent him from doing so, then sends Punk crashing onto the announce desk and joins him up there. Punk then counters with a back body drop on McIntyre and lashes him with the strap across his midsection, but McIntyre grabs a chair and sends it into the ring. McIntyre then nails Punk with a Claymore kick and touches 3 of the corners, but Punk prevents McIntyre from touching the 4th one by sending him crashing into the chair in the corner, then touches 3 of the corners. Punk then locks in a sharpshooter on McIntyre and McIntyre taps out, but it doesn't count and Punk releases the hold. Punk then touches 2 of the corners, but McIntyre hits a neckbreaker and takes out Punk's bracelet with his wife's and dog's names on it. McIntyre then places it on his wrist and hits Punk with a Claymore kick, then touches 3 of the corners. Punk then hits a couple of go-to-sleeps on McIntyre, then touches 2 of the corners. Punk then hits a 3rd GTS and touches the 3rd corner, then hits a 4th GTS and takes back his bracelet before touching the 4th corner. The winner of this match is Best in the World CM Punk. After the match, Michael Cole says this was Punk's first win in WWE in 10.5 years. Punk then embraces UFC star Oban Elliott in the crowd and celebrates his win by standing on the barricade as the fans give him a standing ovation. Sebastian Hackl is in the ring to read an announcement by Deutsch about how Bash in Berlin is the highest-grossing arena show in WWE history. Then we saw a mixed tag team match between the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, versus The Judgment Day, Dominik Mysterio and WWE Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. The match starts off with Priest and Dominik, and Morgan then distracts Priest and Dominik pushes Priest into the announce desk face first. Dominik then sends Priest colliding into the ring steps and sends him back into the ring. Ripley and Morgan then tag in and Ripley hits Morgan with a series of clotheslines and Ripley follows it up with a dropkick and a German suplex, then nails her with a running knee. Dominik then looks to hug Ripley, but Ripley hits him with a couple of clotheslines and locks him in a submission. Ripley and Priest then hit a double razor's edge on Morgan and Dominik before Ripley sends Morgan out of the ring and Priest goes for South of Heaven. JD McDonough and Carlito then appear at ringside, but Priest and Ripley take them down. Baylor then hits Priest with a sling blade, opening the door for Dominik to dial it up for a 619 and a splash on Priest. Morgan then gets Ripley back in the ring and looks to hit the Oblivion, but Ripley counters into a backbreaker. McDonough then distracts Ripley, but Priest nails him on the outside and Dominik gets him up on the announce desk. Dominik then charges at Priest, but Priest flips him inside out with a clothesline on top of the announce desk. In the end, Morgan then stares down Priest, but Priest tells her to turn around, and when she does, Ripley nails her with a headbutt and delivers a riptide, and with that Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest win the match by pinfall. After the match, Priest and Ripley celebrates and mocks the Judgment Day as they look on from the ramp all furious and disappointed. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Gunther versus Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The match starts off with both men taking turns in wearing each other down with submission holds. Orton then sends Gunther crashing into the ring steps and sends him repeatedly colliding into the announce desk. Orton then hits Gunther with a power slam, then goes for a draping DDT and Gunther escapes, and Orton delivers some right hands on him on the top rope and follows it up with a superplex. Gunther goes to hit a powerbomb, but Orton hits an RKO on Gunther and goes for a pin, but Gunther kicks out. Orton goes and gets the other half of the steps. Gunther breaks the count as Randy stacks the steel stairs back up right in front of the German desk. Bouncing the champion's face off of the diamond plate, climbing the stairs, drawing him up, hitting the back suplex off the steps and through the announce desk. Randy posing on the steel steps, dragging the ring general back towards the ring, throwing him inside. Posing for the crowd, back to that special place, Gunther blocks the RKO. Gunther applied Gajira clutch, but somehow Randy survived, but Randy fading, Facer Rictus, prying Gunther's arm down, in position for the RKO, blocked and a chop to the back of the neck. Gunther applied Gajira clutch again, hammer and anvil elbow on him, and this time Randy Orton passed out and the referee called for the bell, and Gunther defeated Randy Orton by submission to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, Gunther celebrates and straps his title belt back on, and he offers a hand and Randy shakes it and the show goes off the air.